The word on the street is that Monique and Chris are getting a divorce. You know, for sure, that does sound like a fun time. I just don't know if I can make it personally. But you know, if I can, I'm gonna try to... Oh, give me 1 second, okay? I'm almost done with this phone call. Give me 1 second. And I get it that Giselle is so happy about the breaking news. I get it. She's having this huge party at the house and she's doing what in the background? She's doing backflips all over the house? Why? Oh, she thinks this is payback for the reunion and the binder situation? Okay, well, no, that's understandable because, whew, I remember watching that. And when Monique called out Jamal's number and Andy asked Giselle, oh, is that Jamal's number? And Giselle said, yeah, like, what was wrong with her? If I was her, I would have lied. I know, but, you know, that's typical Giselle. She doesn't know how to handle a reunion, but regardless, I don't know if I can make it to the party or not, but if I can, what's the dress code? Oh, tacky? Okay, well, typical, but okay, well, if anything, if I can't make it, just wish everybody hello for me, and that's that. We'll talk about it later, okay? Yeah, no, we'll talk about everything soon, okay? We'll talk soon, bye. My goodness, you know, somebody gets a divorce and all of a sudden it's a big celebration, but anyways, hello everybody. Welcome to my channel. I am Raphael. And we are here to discuss yet another divorce in the Real Housewives universe. Unfortunately, this time between a housewife, or at least a former housewife, from the Real Housewives of Potomac, Monique Umbrella Samuels, and her husband, Chris Samuels, who they've been together for 10 years, and unfortunately, allegedly, Monique has called it quits, and she has filed for divorce. Allegedly. And I'm going to say allegedly because, you know, the housewives, they love throwing out divorces or that word divorce out there like it's Pokeballs. Like, you know what? Divorce. I choose you. And then they take it back 2 seconds later. Like, you know what? Never mind. Me and my husband, we're going to, you know, stick together and, you know, we're going to try to work it out and see what happens. I'm looking at you, Ashley Darby. I'm still waiting for you and Michael's divorce, but regardless, according to People magazine, they have a statement, or at least an article from Monique Samuels and explaining the whole situation. And I'm going to read it out loud now. So if you haven't read it, I'm going to read it now. And if you did read it already, then, well, you know, I'm going to read it again. So it goes like, Monique Umbrella Samuels has filed to legally end her marriage to Chris Samuels. The Montgomery County Family Court confirmed to People magazine on Tuesday that the Real Housewives of Potomac alumni, who's 39, has officially filed for divorce from the former NFL player, who's 45. Though Monique has filed a petition to seal the documents from Giselle Bryant because she doesn't want Giselle to use this as a storyline for next season, the docket shows that she has filed the complaint for absolute divorce on April 14th. April 14th is 6 days before my birthday. My birthday is April 20th, just in case you don't know. Now you know. And what the hell is absolute divorce? Like, is there levels to divorce? Like, oh, today I woke up and I'm in the mood for divorce, but not absolute divorce. Like, I'm just feeling divorcey, but you know what? Maybe I'll feel like absolute divorce by the end of the week. Like, what does that mean? But she then filed the amendment complaint for absolute divorce on June 15th. That is so unfortunate. They've been married for 10 years. They have 3 children together, I believe. And did anybody see this coming? I mean, I'm kind of shocked by it, but then again, by what's been going on social media and online for the past year with her and Chris, I'm not too surprised about it because on the show, they seemed loving. They seemed like they were good, especially at the reunion. The last time we saw her at the reunion, they seemed fine, but when she had her own spinoff show, the Love and Marriage DC, I didn't watch it. I was going to watch it for her, but I don't know, I just wasn't interested, so I didn't watch it, so I have no say on that. But from what I did hear, I heard that we kind of got a different, you know, perspective on their marriage, their relationship, and it wasn't good. It didn't paint her out to be in the best lighting, nor Chris. We kind of saw a little bit more of a toxic side to their marriage. So again, I can't confirm that. That's just what I've heard. Maybe I should go look back. Maybe I should just stop this video and go watch and then come back. Nah. But, you know, allegedly, that's what I heard. And then on top of that, I remember last year at BravoCon or Watch What Happens Live, I remember the conversation, but Ashley Darby, she had put it out there, of course, coming from Ashley, one of Monique's so-called friends. She put it out there saying that Monique and Chris, they were going through something and that they were separated and not divorcing or anything, but they were just, you know, kind of like living in two different spots or whatever. And they were kind of, you know, fixing their issues. She let that slip out. And then Monique, she had to get on YouTube, I believe, or Instagram or both. And her and Chris, I remember watching that live or the video, and it was kind of cringy because Monique was like, "Oh, me and Chris, we were not getting a divorce. We're still together. What kind of divorce?" Right, honey? Right? Go along. Go with the script. And Chris was like, "Oh, yeah. I love Monique." And to me, it always seemed as if she was trying to put on some type of show for the audience or whatever. And again, I don't know why, because at the end of the day, it's her marriage, it's her love life, it's her emotions and her happiness. You know, yeah, the audience is going to judge, you know, do whatever, but they're going to do that regardless whether you're together or not. So other clip that I saw online, this Instagram live of her and Chris talking, she to me seemed as if she was just not interested in being with him anymore. I don't know. And on top of that, you know, people had to pull out the Instagram receipts like, "Oh, Chris, he doesn't follow Monique on Instagram anymore." You know, because nowadays, if your relationship is nowhere on Instagram, then technically it's not official. You know, that's the new thing. But I went on his Instagram and he hasn't posted anything about Monique. Then again, he hasn't posted anything about anything in a long time regardless. He's been working out and losing weight. So what did Drake say in that one song? Started wearing less and going out more. So maybe that's exactly what Chris is doing. Maybe he's in his, you know, his single era. Who knows? As for Monique, she's still, I forgot what kind of business she has, like a lotion or some type of scent or something, and she has her podcast. But I do wonder if reality TV or their time on the show has any type of impact on relationships or marriages, because in the Real Housewives universe or just reality TV in general, it seems that it's just, there's a divorce every other second. I mean, she's literally like the 5th housewife probably already within the last couple of months to file for divorce. And it's just like, why? Like, why is that? Is it because, you know, things change with the cameras? You know, does the housewife, does their head get big or something? And they start looking at their husband like, you know what? I could get with anybody. You know, is that the situation? Or is it just a coincidence? You know, like Nene said, is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? But regardless, that's that. And then, you know, I know that people will say, "Oh, this is payback for her and Candace's fight at the winery. This is payback. This is payback. This is payback." And I mean, honestly, I don't see it as payback, because if you really look at the situation on the Real Housewives of Potomac, all of the women, they can't speak for their relationships. They can't talk. They can't throw dirt at Monique without looking at their own relationship. I like Candace and I like Monique regardless of their situation. But Candace, you know, her situation, her marriage with Chris, for the past 2 seasons, it's been very rocky. It hasn't been the best. And I've said it before. I would not be surprised if Chris, you know, pull a divorce out of nowhere on Candace out of nowhere. You know, I can see that happening. I hope it doesn't, but I can see it happening. Robin, do I even have to explain? You know, that's pretty self-explanatory. You know, Robin, she has no say, or she can't throw dirt at Monique and, you know, laugh at her about her divorce, because look what she's going through with her own husband, right? But, and Giselle, Candace, going back to her, she tweeted out yesterday when all of this broke out. And again, this could just be coincidental. It could just be timing or whatever. But I just saw that the timing was a little iffy because, you know, all of this broke out. And Candace had tweeted, and again, this is all allegedly or speculation, right? She had tweeted, "Y'all need to stop playing with me. I'm clairvoyant," which I had to Google what that meant. So clairvoyant is basically like you're a psychic, you predict things, etc., etc. So I'm clairvoyant and you will not convince me otherwise, LOL. So I feel like she was trying to allude, I think, like, oh, you see, I saw this divorce coming. I knew that this was going to happen. Stop playing with me. But, you know, somebody called her out and said, "Oh, why are you being shady, blah, blah, blah." And she was like, "Oh, I'm not trying to throw anything. I'm just, you know, letting people know, blah, 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 all this and all that." And Candace, please. Like, I don't know. To me, again, the timing of it was just a little off. And I feel like instead of Potomac, Monique should come. So this is my idea. She should come back for the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. And I believe she was asked to be on the first season, but then she didn't do it. And I forgot who replaced her. Was it Cynthia? Somebody replaced her on season 1 of Ultimate Girls Trip. But I feel like for season 6, because season 4 and season 5 have already been filmed, I feel like for season 6, the theme should be the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, Divorcees Club. And you know, everybody on the cast should be divorced. And it's sad that we have enough women to be on the show, that they've gone through a divorce on this whole entire franchise. So this is gonna be my magical cast, right? Starting with Lisa from the Real Housewives of Miami. She's going through that nasty divorce right now with Lenny, that scumbag. You know, she's going through it with him. Then we have Kenya Moore. Kenya Moore, she had a whole divorce, or at least she's going through it with Mark currently, and we're seeing that play out on, you know, the show now. Then we have Erica Jane, and Erica Jane, she's going through, what isn't Erica Jane going through right now? You know, her 50 million lawsuits, you know, Tom flipping his cars 100 times, and, you know, that whole divorce settlement or whatever. So we could have Erica Jane, Kenya, Lisa, and then Monique. Of course, you know, she's just going through a divorce now, if it actually goes through. Then we have Drew Sidora from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Then we have Eva. I can give or take Eva. You know, we could replace her with Cynthia Bailey, one or the other, because Eva, me personally, I never saw the hype, but that's just me. But Eva, she could go on there because she just went through a divorce not too long ago. And then we have Ashley Darby. Ashley Darby, she could get on the show. She's going through a divorce, allegedly, with Michael Darby. Eighth person of the cast could be Wig Zolciak. You know, Kim, she could also be on it, I guess. You know, I would like to, I'll be interested to see how she will mix with the Real Housewives in general. Like, I wonder, like, how it'll be. But regardless, you know, the location, it could be something, it could be somewhere scary or somewhere spooky, somewhere tropical. My suggestion would be Giselle's house. You know, they could all go to Giselle's house. Giselle, she could move out for like a week or so. You know, they could explore the house like, oh, what the hell is this? You know, they could take turns, you know, talking about each other's husband, talking shit about them like, oh yeah, he was this, blah, blah, blah. You know, just talking trash on all their husbands. And, you know, talking about like what happened with their divorce, what happened with their relationships. We can have games, strippers, Bolo could come, Portia as well. She could come for an episode or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Tanya, somebody find Tanya and bring her back, and she could also be on it. Like, it could work. I could see some type of substance to it. But speaking of relationships and, you know, things going down the drain, let's talk about this Submarine situation. You know, I'm so fascinated by it, but not in a good way. Mostly in a horror type of way, because I just cannot wrap my brain around how people paid. So people paid $250,000 to go into this tiny little submarine with no socks and no shoes, no nothing, like you're barefoot. And it's like this small apartment. It looks like a little New York City apartment. You know, the one that, you know, costs like $3,000 per month. And you go inside, there's a little section, a little bathroom section, and there's a little curtain to separate the curtain and the space, right? There's a small little window inside the bathroom, I guess to look out or something, to make it romantic. And you pay all this money to go deep down in the ocean to look at the Titanic wreck. And for what? You know, because now everybody who's inside the submarine, who paid all the money, they're stuck somewhere in the ocean and nobody knows where they're at. Nobody can locate them. Like, nobody knows their whereabouts. And I believe that they have enough oxygen to last them until 6 in the morning, Thursday morning, which is in a couple of hours. So who even knows what the outcome of this whole situation is going to be by the time this video is up? But it's just such a scary situation. Like, could you not have, you know, just gone on YouTube, look at videos of the wreck or something, or, you know, go to the museum. There's a good museum, you know, that I've seen online. I forgot where it is. In Tennessee? I believe it's in Tennessee. I want to go to it. I've always had an obsession with the Titanic ever since I was younger, but my obsession is not going to lead me to get into the submarine, into this small little contraption and go down into the ocean. Like, literally looks like a saw trap, you know, like the Jigsaw movie. I want to play a game that it literally looks like you're walking into death. And it's just like, why would you do that? At this point, I'm honestly convinced that rich people are just really bored with their money. You know, they don't know what to do with it anymore. They bought all the cars, the clothes, the trips, the everything, the houses, and they're like, okay, well, what do I do now? You know what? Let me get the adrenaline. Let me get the rush by risking my life, by going down in the ocean, doing things that people are not privileged, if that's what you want to call it, enough to do. And now here we are. And again, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to the moon. I'm not doing any of that. Absolutely not. Like, no, that's just too scary. You know, on top of that, the CEO of the creator of the Submarine or whatever, he's also inside this said submarine. So he's in there with 4 other men. 2 of the men, they're related. One of them, he's a dad to one of the other guys in there. He's 19. And can you imagine that you're trapped in there with your father and, you know, your whole life just basically down the drain at this point, no pun intended. But they're stuck in there, and could you imagine the tension in there as well? Like, you're in there for all these hours. The CEO, he's breaking the news to them like, we're lost, we're stuck here, and I don't know what to do. They're probably looking at him like, this mother effer. They're probably calling him every single name in the book. Like, could you imagine? Like, his feelings are probably hurt, but I think as the CEO, he has a stepson. He's been under fire because over the weekend, he went to a Blink-182 concert. And, you know, I think he posted saying, oh, you know, my father or my stepdad, he will want me to have fun instead of being at home worrying about, you know, X, Y, and Z and being sad. And I mean, at first I'm like, no, that seems very irresponsible and very cold-hearted. And then the other part of me, I had to look at it from a different perspective. Now, replace Blink-182 with Beyonce. You know, then I have to look at it like, wait a minute, because then, I don't know, then maybe my stepdad is gonna have to be put on the back burner for 2 or 3 hours, depending on how long Beyonce performs. I have seen so many horrible and hilarious like tweets, posts, TikToks. Like, people are so, oof. Now, let me know what you all thought about this whole situation with Chris and Monique and that whole situation. Do you think that the divorce is actually going to go through? Do you think that Ashley Darby's divorce is actually going to go through? Do you think that Ralph and Drew's relationship, you know, their divorce is actually going to go through? And do you like my ultimate girls trip idea? I'm here for it, but let me know what you thought about that and this whole submarine situation. Do you think that there's any hope for it? Again, by the time this video is posted, we'll probably know more information about it. I'm wishing them the best, but, you know, we'll see. Would you do such a thing too? Let me know about that too. But let me know about your thoughts on all these topics down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.